Next, I'll be showing the first of two neck stretches. The first one will be focusing on the back of the neck. So it's a very simple one to perform, but there's a few key things to point out, not to cause yourself any harm and to actually capitalize from the benefits of the stretch. So all we want to do is actually stand up straight as you can be. Make sure your posture is straight, make sure your core is slightly tucked in, and all you want to do is actually lean your head forward, just like this. You want your chin to get as close to your chest as possible. Very important to actually clench your teeth together. You want your face to be stable, but you also want to be in control. You do not want your head to be just hanging. You actually want to slowly move it into the actual position. And this is what it's going to look like from the side. I'm standing up straight, my core is slightly tucked in, my posture is straight, and now my head is slowly moving forward. My teeth are clenched. When I'm talking, they're obviously not, but this is what it's going to look like. You're going to feel the upper part of your back. You're going to feel that tension there. You're going to feel the tension in your neck and slightly rushing up to the lower part of your head. I'm going to show you from the front one more time, starting in that upright position and slowly moving in to the stretch. Even in this position, teeth being clenched together, you want to slowly breathe and hold it. Very important that when you end the stretch as well, to slowly move out of it. You do not want to overstretch your neck. You do not want to put too much pressure. If you feel like you've reached the tension point and you can go further after holding it for a few seconds, all you need to do is use your chin to dig lower into your body and dig deeper into your chest. So if I want to increase the tension that I'm feeling in my neck to better feel the stretch, all I have to do, again, starting it up in that upright position. Over here, I feel the tension and the stretch as well. After 10-20 seconds, when I feel like I can go further down, all I have to do is focus on my chin and push down towards my chest. Slowly move out of it, and that's how you perform the forward flexion neck stretch. Next, I'll be focusing on the front of the neck, mainly on the SCM muscles. This can be a somewhat dangerous stretch, so very important to focus here and perform it in the best way possible. So just like the previous neck stretch, you always want to make sure that your mouth is closed and your teeth are clenched together. But to stretch the front part of your neck, we're actually going to have to lean our head backwards. This is an unnatural position. You do not want your head to hang back. This is the last thing we want. A, because you can hurt yourself, but B, it's going to be sometimes difficult to get out of that position. So how do we perform that in the safest way possible? You're actually going to control your movement down by using the SCM muscles. I'm going to perform it. I'm going to keep my teeth clenched for this one. So you're going to stand up straight, again, always core slightly tucked in, straight posture, and then my head is going to slowly lean backwards, but by using the muscles in the front area of my neck. You want to do this by trying to stretch your face up towards the ceiling, up towards the sky. Try and touch the ceiling with your actual chin. I'm going to show it from the front. Again, standing up straight, core slightly tucked in. I'm going to slightly lean my head backwards, and then I'm going to focus on touching the ceiling with my chin. To get out of the stretch, again, you want to follow the same guidelines. You just want to do the same thing, but slowly bring your chin from trying to touch the ceiling back to your normal day-to-day position. I'm going to show this stretch one more time from this angle here, and just to emphasize on the point of slowly leaning your head backwards. So again, stand straight, teeth clenched together, and try and touch the ceiling with my chin. Immediately, even if you do this without leaning your head backwards, you will feel tension around the front part of your neck. Once you feel that initial tension, that's when you can start leaning your head backwards. So I'm going to demonstrate it one more time from 0. I'm going to start by feeling the tension, and then I'm going to lean my head slowly backwards while always breathing. Obviously you want to breathe through your nose here only, because we want our mouth to be shut and our teeth clenched together. Slowly get out of the position, and then you should feel that tension and relief now in your SCM muscles and around your neck overall. I'm going to start with the parallel arm shoulder stretch. That is performed very simply in a standing position, can be in a seated position too, just it'll be maybe more difficult to make sure your posture is straight and you're in the correct position, so it'll take a bit more focus and effort maybe, but I'm going to demonstrate it in a standing position. So again, standing straight, core tucked in, posture is correct. All I'm going to do is hold one arm bent up, and then the arm that will be stretched, the parallel to the ground arm, will cross my body, and I will use this bent arm to hold the arm that's being stretched in a parallel position to the ground, and use it also, this arm, the bent arm, as a regulator of the stretch. The stretch can be an easy one, or it can be a very difficult one, using this arm to increase the tension. Again, always you want to start at the point where you feel the tension, and you want to hold that point. Once you hold, you breathe, you'll feel that tension slightly subsiding. That's when you can allow yourself to use the arm, regulate the intensity, bring the arm towards, the bent arm towards me, towards my chest, and then that's when I'll feel the stretch, tension increasing. Many muscles are affected here. You'll feel your traps, you'll feel your lats, you'll feel your deltoids, but it's a great shoulder relief stretch. I just showed you from this side, I'm going to show you the other arm. So first of all, the arm that is not being stretched, the regulating arm, is always going to start up, is going to be bent, and then the arm, the shoulder that is going to be stretched, is going to cross your body. You're going to use the bent arm as the regulator. You're going to pull the parallel arm, the arm that's being stretched, towards you, and then that's where you'll feel the stretch in all of this area across your arm. There are different techniques or different ways to perform this stretch. For example, you could be doing this with your fingers stretched out. You'll actually feel more tension in your arms by doing so. You can do this by holding them in a fist too. Very safe stretch to perform and a great relief for your shoulders. So next, under the shoulder category, I'll actually be building off the parallel arm shoulder stretch and moving into the bent arm shoulder stretch. This one is slightly more advanced just because it involves a bit more muscles, but also it's slightly more difficult to perform, and you'll feel immediately more tension just by starting at the starting point of the stretch. So instead of, like the previous one, bringing your arm that's being stretched across your body and parallel to the ground, you're actually going to have both of your arms bent. So two ways to start this. One, you can start it by performing the parallel stretch and then bending that arm, or you can go just straight into it. It's going to be, you're going to rely on the regulating arm to catch you and hold you in place. Once you're there, whether you started here or whether you started here, you want to end up in this position. So now both arms are bent. You want to make sure that your regulating arm doesn't tuck into your body. You want to hold it up in the air and control it, because that's what's going to be the controller of this stretch. And immediately in this position, already I feel enough tension to hold this position and make this stretch beneficial for myself. I'm going to show you just first of all in this view using the other arm. So now I'm going to stretch my left shoulder. So my regulating arm is going to be up. I'm going to dive into the parallel stretch and then bend my arm. Again, I want to make sure naturally this arm, the regulating arm, is going to be a bit lazy and going to tuck into your body. You want to make sure that it's pushed up. You want to make sure that it's doing its job and regulating the stretch. Here too, you can stretch your fingers out. You'll feel some additional tension, additional stretching being done, but whatever your personal preference is. And once you're in this position, once you have the regulating arm in place, use it to manage the intensity by either bringing the arm that's being stretched closer to your body, but also by slightly pushing it up. By slightly pushing it up, you'll feel more tension on the side of your shoulder. So just to show it now from the side, I'm going, again, starting in the correct position, standing up straight. This can be performed sitting down as well, but will require more focus and more effort. But standing up straight, core tucked in, posture is good. Now I'm going to stretch my right shoulder. I'm going to bend my regulating arm first. I'm going to bend my arm that's being stretched and just bring it across my body, and then using my regulating arm to catch the arm that's being stretched, bring it closer to my body, push it slightly up towards the ceiling, and then for me this is the perfect stretch, the perfect tension. I'm going to breathe through it. If I feel like I can increase the tension, then all I have to do is use my regulating arm to manage that. From the other side, from another angle, now I'm going to stretch my left arm. So I'm starting with the regulating arm. Now I'm going to bring my left arm that's going to be stretched across my body, bend it, use the regulating arm to bring the arm that's being stretched closer to me, slightly up towards the sky. And again, this is perfect. Maybe in 10, 15, 20 seconds, I'll feel like I can increase the tension. All I have to do is use some power on the regulating arm to bring the arm that's being stretched towards me and slightly up in the air. Again, I'm going to focus on not letting the regulating arm be lazy and tuck into my body. That will affect my posture, and it will affect the technique and the efficiency of the actual stretch. So we don't want this to happen. We don't want your shoulders to bend down. We don't want your back to bend down. We want to be upright. This was the bent arm shoulder stretch. The next shoulder stretch we'll be performing is the reaching up shoulder stretch. This is going to be slightly different than the parallel arm shoulder stretch or the bent arm shoulder stretch. Our hand will actually be going behind our body. This is a slightly unnatural position, so please use caution, and also remember not to dive in too deeply into the stretch without knowing your body's limitations. So always start at the lowest point of tension before building into it. To perform this stretch, all you're going to do is actually only one arm will be working at a time. Again, always want to start up straight, standing up, can be performed sitting down, but standing up, core slightly tucked in, and the shoulder that will be stretched is the only arm that's going to be working. You're going to take that arm, you're going to put it behind your back. You're going to keep your palm as straight as possible with your body, and all you're going to do is hold this position at the center of your back. By holding it, you will feel tension, but this can be regulated as well. You can regulate the intensity of this stretch if you need to. If you're at the first position that you were able to reach, and you can feel enough tension. So first thing to do is just to hold it and breathe. Stay in that position, breathe fully, breathe slowly. If you feel like you can increase the tension, that can be regulated in two ways. Number one is you can reach up as much as you can with your fingers. So imagine if I'm comfortable with this stretch right here, imagine me trying to touch my neck with my fingers. So reach up as high as possible. I'll use my left arm now, stretching my left shoulder. I'm comfortable in this position. All I have to do now is try and reach as high as possible. And then I can feel the increase in tension of the stretch. Another way to regulate the intensity of this stretch will actually be to use your arm. If you feel like you cannot reach up and increase that intensity, you can use your arm, your hand, your palm to kind of climb up your back. By doing that, you will feel the tension increase. I'll show that using my other arm now. So if I feel comfortable in this position and I feel like I've maximized how much I can reach up, you can use your hand to slowly climb up your back. And then you will feel the intensity increase. And by doing so, once you reach the point where you feel comfortable at, but do feel tension, hold, breathe. And when you're finished holding that position, very important to slowly move out of it. This is, there's no excuse to rush out of this one because it feels very good to just let your arm slowly get more loose, and you just feel the tension slowly subsiding and your arm is somewhat sliding off your back until you're in a natural position, out of danger, and you should feel that relief in your shoulder areas on both sides. The next shoulder stretch I'll be performing will be the reverse shoulder stretch. In order to start this one will be more tricky to do seated or definitely in a normal traditional chair. So I recommend doing this one standing up. You're always going to stand up straight, legs or feet shoulder width apart. You're actually going to reach out. This is going to be a stretch where both shoulders are going to be stretched at the same time. And what you're going to do is you're going to reach back, clench your fingers together, lock out your elbows, and in this position already, you should and probably will feel the tension in your shoulders and in your arms. I feel the tension in this position already. You do not want to bend down at all doing this stretch. That will be a different exercise. That will be a different stretch technique. We're focusing on the shoulders here. So what we have to do, again, from this angle, all you're going to do is reach both arms back. Make sure your core is tucked in. Make sure you're standing straight. Arms tucked back. Fingers clenched together. Push your elbows out. Lock out your elbows. And in this position here, I feel the tension. So I'm going to hold this position. I'm going to breathe. When I feel the tension slightly subsiding, to regulate and monitor this stretch and potentially increase the tension, all I have to do is try and get my hands and my fist, my fingers as high as possible. So at the moment, this is as high as I can go, feeling comfortable, which is what you should strive for. So I'm going to hold this position. When I feel like I can increase the intensity, I'm going to slightly bring my fingers higher up in the sky, towards the sky, higher up towards the ceiling. Again, I'm not going to bend down. I'm not going to do any of this. I'm just going to hold this position, and if I need to increase the intensity, I'm just going to bring my fingers as high as possible. From the back, it's going to look like this. I'm going to stand up straight, reach out, clench my fingers together, push my elbows out, lock them out, and then if I want to regulate and increase the intensity, all I have to do is bring my fingers higher up towards the ceiling. And breathe and hold slowly and fully. From the front, arms back, fingers together, elbows out and locked, and hold.